Hey, hopefully everyone can hear me. Um, Gosh, I really didn't want to do this. It's weird. Every time I want to start a live stream now, I'll get the urge, and then whenever I'm about to do it, I usually back out because I don't feel like it. And it's also weird being in charge too, because now I got all the buttons back here that I haven't had before in a while. Oh, Luke left me a comment. How did you leave me a comment already? Anyway, I just had some free time where my life's been kind of busy. For those of you that know, bouncing around a lot. Um, I'll give you a quick update so you'll know in case I have to hop off very quickly. We're currently, I live in Colorado now. I used to live in Tennessee. Now I live in Colorado, but right now we're in Washington, near Seattle. Um, and Becca and I, my wife, and we came up here to take care of her mom because her mom had a major surgery. But right now, we drove like an hour north of Seattle to spend time with her sister who lives nearby. So we're in the hotel, and my wife just went on a run, and I'm in the hotel by myself. So I was like, well, I'll probably have like an hour. And I feel like I haven't really gotten to join these as much as I used to, or get on here and talk as much as I used to. So I didn't really have a great plan on what to talk about. I had a few things that I thought I could maybe briefly bring up. I have been talking to Jess recently about maybe doing some stuff, a little bit of a study on Ecclesiastes. I'm trying to figure out how to drop the link. I don't even remember anymore. Oh my gosh, what has happened to me? How do I do this? Share your referral link. I don't even know. I don't even remember how to do any of this. Oh my gosh, there's too many things. I feel like if I click the wrong thing, I'm going to end the stream. Anyway, but yeah, so we were talking about Ecclesiastes. What does this mean? Oh, there it is. I got it. I can just put it here. Drop the link at Jersey Mike's. But there's a lot of things that kind of tie in. So the thing that was kind of on my mind that is on my mind a lot, which I talked to a lot of my friends about, it's just I guess unknowing the night, just in the opposite of identity, nothingness, oblivion. Oblivion's kind of, I guess, the main one, because I feel like, I don't even know what that word necessarily means. There's this passage in Fantastes, though. It's right in the beginning. It's like the first or second chapter. And he says he opens his father's, it's like a drawer in his father's desk or whatever, and he sees these rose petals that are just like, basically have become potpourri. They're just like withered, and they've been sitting in this drawer for like years and years and years. And he says they so mutely witness to the law of oblivion. And that just always really, that still rings in my head. The fact that he would even say in writing that statement, the law of oblivion, and what that even means. Does that suggest there's like weirdly an order to oblivion, which doesn't really make sense to my mind? But the reason I bring all that up is because there's this book. It's called Hymns to the Night by Novalis, and I remember reading it in poetry, just like I remember I was out walking reading it, and I was like, none of this makes any sense to me. And then I just kept reading it, and then finally it felt like my brain kind of just like, I don't know how to say it, kind of like turned into like oatmeal or something, like a soft pudding, where like it was just kind of like, oh, I think I can kind of read this now, because I'm trying to like think about it too particular, in like too much of a particular way, and a lot of times I'll do that when I'm reading. I just get really specific and look at words, and then poetry just doesn't resonate. But it's a really good book. It's not very long, but I think my favorite part was it's in chapter 2, and lonely tanks TM. Yeah, because I'm all alone. I'll just post the link if anyone wants to stop in. But the reason I want to bring it up is because I think it's kind of, Ecclesiastes kind of wrestles with it. Ecclesiastes does not strike me as it's my favorite book in the Bible. It does not strike me as any of a depressing book. A lot of people think it's depressing. I think it's oddly kind of the most hopeful, the most meaningful book in the entire Bible. Because I think it causes you to actually wrestle with meaning. I think it's probably the main book that really puts that on the forefront. Because if you're going to say everything's meaningless, it forces you to grapple with what actually has meaning. And I know that's probably a bad translation of it. They all translate it different. Everything is vanity, meaningless. The real word is hevel, which is just like the name Abel in the Genesis story. But I'll read this passage from Novalis, Hymns to the Night. Oh, yes, he's here. Whoa, are you at Waffle House? Where are you?
I'm at Jersey Mike's. You didn't think I would do it.
That's amazing.
I got a sandwich with the gabagool.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's right.
You go there every day?
No.
That's so funny.
No, we just went to the sandwich store before we went to the store. I'm streaming with Jason right now.
Oh, so you're with your family?
Yeah, I'm with Benjamin and Brittany. We're gonna go to the store.
Cool. That's cool.
What's this book you're talking about?
Ecclesiastes? No, the well, I'm trying to tie it all in.
Hymns to the Night by Novalis.
Yeah. There's a part in there, and
that's the part about it mutely witnessing to the law of oblivion or something.
No, that's actually from Fantastes. But I know George MacDonald was influenced by Novalis because he quotes him a few times. Like he quotes the one I think he quotes it in Fantastes and in Lilith. He says, "Our life is no dream, but it should and perhaps become one." And I think that's the Novalis quote that he quotes the most. But I know he's influenced by him. But the part from the Hymns to the Night, it's holy sleep, gladding not too seldom in this earthly day labor, the devoted servant of the night. Fools alone mistake thee, knowing not of sleep, but the shadow which in the twilight of the real night thou pitifully castest over us. They feel thee not in the golden flood of the grapes, and the magic oil of the almond tree, and the brown juice of the poppy. They know not that it is thou who hauntest the bosom of a tender maiden, and makest a heaven of her lap. Never suspect thou, opening the doors of heaven, that steppest to meet them out of ancient stories, bearing the key to the dwellings of the blessed, silent messenger of secrets infinite. So, I don't know, it's just kind of a whole book that Novalis wrote, which kind of seems like a worship and a reverence to
that was from Novalis that you just read?
Yeah.
So he references the almond tree as well?
Yeah, he does. Which I didn't know that till later, but yeah.
So the biblical reference to the almond tree is in Jeremiah?
There's a few in biblical references, but like there's almond tree is I think the first reference is maybe at Bethel, where Jacob has a dream, and he says he calls the place Bethel, but formerly it had been called Luz or Luz or something, which means almond tree, and that's the first reference. And then the next one I think is when it's talking about the menorah, and the menorah is made like an almond tree.
Where in Zechariah?
No, but that's related, yeah, because the 7 eyes in Zechariah is like the menorah, the 7 candles.
Where's the
let's see.
You mean in like in the Torah or something, or no? Where?
Let's see. Exodus. It's when they're making the temple.
Okay, right. So the tabernacle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
And it says to make the menorah with like an almond tree and a blossom, an almond tree or almond and a blossom.
Okay. All right. And then in Jeremiah, when he says, "What do you see?" It says the branch of an almond tree, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, is there any reference to it past that?
Ecclesiastes. Yeah.
Ecclesiastes?
Yeah, that's kind of what. It says when the almond tree blossoms, the grasshopper is a burden and desire fails. But it gets translated.
When the almond tree blossoms, what?
Yeah, when the almond tree blossoms, the grasshopper is a burden and desire fails. So I think it gets translated different ways because it's so poetic. But I think it's I tried looking into that before, and I don't know if like the almond tree. Some people said when the almond blossoms are white, so that represents like someone's gray hair. I think it's. I'm not quite sure. I know the almond tree is very related to vision and seeing, because of the Jeremiah passage and because of the menorah, like the 7 eyes of the Lord. And so I think maybe that when the almond tree blossoms, the grasshopper is a burden and desire fails. Like your eyes are getting dim with because it's talking about dying in that passage, like the end of your old age, coming to the end of your life in Ecclesiastes. And that's the chapter that I kind of took when I made my channel. That's some of it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird, weird fasting thing again, where I was on a fast, and it's like I just kept getting repetitions of the tree, like synchronicities, and I was like, oh, I'll just
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
The almond tree.
But that's probably good to bring up because I was kind of talking about, I guess I don't know, about the opposite of that. Oh man, let me find this. No, I posted it in our chat. I think it's right out there. But just I don't. I guess it has to do with like Mitch's Christian nihilism too, where it's like how much have we actually reckoned with just oblivion or nothingness or doubt, just doubt itself, like the unknown, even in our belief system, like how much do we actually believe, and then what is that actually founded on? I feel like that foundation is actually doubt or something like that. And Ecclesiastes kind of wrestles with that or brings it back, because it's like there's a weird way where like I think everything goes back to that, because everything came from that, like came from darkness. In the beginning the earth was like without form and void, and it says darkness covered the face of the deep. And so it's like everything kind of came out of that darkness or that infinite potential or that nothingness. And then at the end of your life, like you kind of have to, I don't know that you will go back to it, but you kind of feel like have to offer yourself back up to that in some sense. Like really, really kind of offer yourself up to, my God, why have you forsaken me? Like what if that is actual possibility? God is just like, oh no, I'll just forget this one creature of mine. Like, I don't know. It's like, that's terrifying, but I feel like there's something to that just hasn't been really contended with.
Do you think you can really love someone to the utmost and not worry about that possibility that they might totally forget you?
Say more about that. What do you mean? Like that needs to be there in the love?
Because what I mean is, I think if you love someone to the utmost, that worry will cross your mind. And if it hasn't crossed your mind with regard to God, it just means you haven't yet loved Him with all your heart, mind, soul, strength.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's like it's kind of like a worry or a fear of being without them or being forgotten by them, being forever cast out, I guess, into outer darkness. But then it's kind of this weird sort of I feel like there's got to be some sort of peace or shalom in it, though, because it's like if that is a fear that could be a possibility, it's like, well, everything came from that. Like that's it's our beginning. It's like that was before there was anything on the earth, there was darkness, and it's like, so you're just going back to what was, which is the way I guess it feels comforting to me. The way I would tie it in is it feels like the mother. It feels like the womb. It feels.
You think it's like almost like a primordial recognition of who and what God is as the infinite, but here conceived as nothingness, the neither nor, the unbound.
Yeah.
Because there's a way that, anything sufficiently eternal, if you there's going to be a sense in which it involves treasures both new and old. There's going to be it's going to be. It's like when you meet God, it's like being reunited with Him for the first time, which doesn't make sense, but it's like there is simultaneously a note of destiny and homecoming at the same time that there is the breaking forth or theophany that's totally new.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a way that we all have a primordial recognition of who and what God is as like the completely infinite. And
Yeah.
then there's the way that the completely infinite does, at least from a certain perspective, bear description as neither nor, like there's nothingness.
Hmm.
Um, as much as it might bear description as the both and or everything.
Yeah.
And like St. John of the Cross, he had a quote that I don't remember. I almost partly I didn't memorize it because I was too afraid to. 'Cause I didn't want to believe it was true. But he was talking about the desolateness that characterizes like the first time that like God really sort of shows up in your heart, and it's not just a kind of training wheels type of grace. Because he can give you graces that are like training wheels that feel good,
Yeah.
even to the part of you that is still flesh. But when it's time to really get sanctified, it's like it's gonna feel almost entirely synonymous with like physical death, and the love that he bears you is gonna at the same time be the judgment of every single idol that was part of the fleshly identity that you called yourself. And it's like it's time for the kind of radical cauterization um, of something uh, that has to pass away.
Yeah.
Um, the old is passing away, so all things can be made new. And but to me, there's almost nothing more terrifying by definition.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it seems to be like. And I just get the sense more and more, the more I think about things, the more I get the sense and feel like that it the things that seem to be opposite almost feel like the two sides to the same coin. So like what is most terrifying also should weirdly be the most comforting. I think that's why I feel something about this contending with oblivion or forgetfulness or anything like that. There's got or there's the loss of
Yeah, yeah.
identity, like when God is really really
If you
causing
look
you
at the
to
Psalms
go through all
and just
death.
like how bipolar the Psalms are,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's like I'm forgotten as a dead man out of mind.
yeah,
Or Jesus is absolutely insistent that the Son of Man has to go to Jerusalem and be crucified and be 3 days, in the belly of the earth,
yeah,
like Jonah. Um,
yeah.
and there's something else I was going to say too, but it kind of escapes me.
It's because all those Italians around you won't shut up. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I
The
mean,
loud
no.
voice.
Thank you for saying what, having the courage to say what we were all.
Yeah, yeah. They're the best race. We all know. We agree on that. So, um, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. Now I
not
got
even
distracted.
Italians, Italian American.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you
It's even
watching The
better.
Sopranos, by the way?
No, I need to. I should probably
You
watch
need
it
to
again.
be.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Give me a rundown on that. How's that been going? We need an update. We'll tie
There's
it in.
no rundown. There's no rundown. It's just like pure like slice of life. Like just like the writing is almost it's like shockingly good actually.
Really?
Yeah, no, because like it's insane like the level of artistry that they put into that show.
Yeah, I
But
don't
anyway,
know.
I'm not going to derail it. I'm not going to derail it off the
No,
topic of
we'll tie it in. We can tie it
Novalis.
in. We can tie it back in. I was trying to find that thing I sent in the group chat that was from Fantasties as well. That was about. Oh yeah, this is it. And then it's this part where he goes to this lady's house and he just sees this book. No, it's right before he finds his shadow. When his shadow comes out of the closet. That sounded weird. You know what I mean. But before she tells him not to open that door, but there's this lady and she's like an ogre or something. She's reading this book and she reads, "So then, as darkness had no beginning, neither will it ever have an end. So then, it is eternal. The negation of aught else is its affirmation. Where the light
Yeah,
cannot come, there abideth the darkness. The light doth but hollow a mine out of the infinite extension of the darkness, and ever upon the steps of the light treadeth the darkness, yea, springeth in the fountains and wells amidst it, from the secret channels of its mighty sea. Truly man is but a passing flame, moving unquietly amid the surrounding rest of the night, without which he yet could not be, and whereof he is in part compounded. I love that
Yeah,
last part. It kind of ties in that
yeah.
part where it
Whereof
said,
he's in part.
um, what was it? The negation of aught else is its
Yes.
affirmation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last part,
Omnis determinatio is every determination is negation.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Neither X nor not X equals both X and not X. It's
yeah.
like the Morgan law or something like
Mm,
that. And the darkness is not dark to you.
yeah,
That
yeah,
you create light and you form the dark light.
yeah. That's what I feel like. There's got to be when I actually really understand God, or the closer I get to Him, the more peace I will have, and the more darkness or being forgotten or any of that stuff will just not. It will be comforting. Like it won't
Oh,
even be a
this is what
terror
I was.
anymore.
Well, this is what I was thinking of before that I forgot.
Yeah,
That Jesus, he knows what he has to go through, and it says he's perfected by what he suffered.
yeah,
You know, when he was doing all the miracles of the kingdom and being the Son of God and proclaiming the coming of the kingdom, he wasn't yet perfected. But he went into the Garden of Gethsemane and he watered the ground with the drops of his sweat.
yeah,
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread until thou return unto the ground. He waters it with his sweat, which is blood, and sort of undoes the curse of Genesis. And yes, it, the suffering there in Gethsemane, it is so intense that it's like an angel has to strengthen him in order for him to withstand it, because it's something I had to read many times before I realized that it says there's an angel that came and
yeah.
sustained him in
Strength.
Gethsemane.
Yeah,
Just like strengthen him. Just like after after he was tempted for 40 days, the angels came and ministered to him.
wow.
So there's a certain way, like by definition, you cannot be ready for the test. You cannot
Mm,
meet it. He will not meet you as a man. Like
yeah,
doesn't you have to by definition be afraid? Aren't you afraid? But be not afraid.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's wild. I gotta go. We're heading
Okay.
out now, but
Yeah,
I'll
that's
just try
fine.
to
Thanks.
listen.
Thanks for hopping on. I'll
All
see you
right.
out.
Okay.
Bye. Cool. Well, that was nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never even thought of that before. That's wild about the connecting the. I don't know why I haven't thought of that. Connecting the garden and when Jesus is praying at the end to the Genesis story, and then the sweat of the curse that God puts on man by the sweat of your brow. Um, yeah, that's fascinating. I'm gonna think about that more. Yeah. So I don't know. Going back to all this, trying to tie everything in. This is scattered, but the Ecclesiastes, if this was ever used as some sort of type of intro or something to that book, if we do start digging into it and studying it more, whatever ends up happening with that, we, so I mean, I feel like the book has a wave feeling where it feels like it goes up and down. Like you're kind of like, oh, enjoy life, have a great time. Oh, but it's all meaningless. Oh, but it feels like underneath all of it is this night. I don't know how else to describe it. Um, but I think the book right after that is Song of Songs, and that one, I think, is the back and forth between light and darkness. As you're looking at a king who is like the passage I just read from Fantastes, like a man is but a passing flame through the night. Like a king is just an identity. It's like a very very specific identity too, because it's like the one specific leader of like the entire kingdom or something, and everything's united under this one specific identity. So it's a very 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 specific like light. It's like clarity. It's like this is this and not that. It's a king, and it's like, so that's the light, and then the Shulamite woman is Shalom, Shulamite. Yeah, it's just so many times, like it's just kind of. I feel like it repeats that word enough to where like I feel personally like I can't really skirt around it. Like in Song of Songs, it feels like this is kind of an obvious, to me it seems like an obvious point to rest, death, sleep, um, just that night basically. So you have the king and the Shulamite woman. Um, Even with Solomon, like I mean, his mother's name is Bathsheba. 7, the day of rest. The Queen of Sheba, who is like often described as, I think, coming from. Well, Jesus says she comes from the farthest ends of the earth, so she's like the most alien, most foreign, most unknown. Um, and she's also described of having like really dark skin, maybe being Ethiopian, just dark. Um, and so you have that back and forth in Song of Songs where it's like this is how creation works. The light, the identity goes into the darkness, into the womb, and then it comes back, and then this garden is formed. And it's like that's kind of what's happening in that book. But I feel like, I don't know, Ecclesiastes just, if I could sum it up, what I usually say is it's like that verse, set your minds on things above and not on things of the earth. Um, you're placing your meaning and value in what is truly meaningful, which I think you could keep shooting at all sorts of different things, and then even if you're like, okay, well, it's not material things, you can still aim at all other lofty things, whatever, different ideas, all sorts of stuff. But it's like if God is one thing, if monotheism is truly true, then there's one thing you should be investing in. Like there's one main thing. Like you can invest in all the other things, like Ecclesiastes says, enjoy life, like get drunk, have a good time, whatever. But there's one thing that happens to all. There's one, you you will meet your maker. And then, but at the same time, it's like, what is that one thing? And it's like on the surface level, you read it and it's like, oh, he's probably talking about death. But it's like, no, you could look at it. You could look at it. You could say it's death. I think you could also say it's like mercy or some sort of allowance, some sort of. I would say forgiveness, but probably on a different, maybe that different than other people mean it. Because in order to exist, like you're allowed to be. Like there's yeah, I don't know, just a forgiveness for you to exist and not be one with everything else. You're your own separate thing. You're your own identity. So there's like an allowance for you not to be exactly as everything else is or blended into the whole infinite number of things. And you come out of the whole infinite number of things and establish yourself. And it's like you come out of the whole nothing of things and establish yourself. So it's like there is that one thing too, where it's like, okay, the one thing that happens to everyone is mercy or allowance or forgiveness, or like Cal would say, forgiveness. And I think that's right too. But then it's like I think that's a lot of people's contention with forgiving everything is because it kind of creates this meaningless thing. It's like, well, then there's just nihilism, and what's the point? Because everything is just like nothing matters. But it's like no, there's one thing that really, really matters, that truly matters, and it's gonna have to be there underneath everything. Like it's all of creation. It's gonna have to be there. Like nothingness is gonna have to be like the I don't want to say foundation of infinity or everything. Yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of what goes through my mind a lot, and just with the concept of, I mean, you could call it night, you could call it oblivion, you could call it nothingness, you could call it um, so many different things, I guess. But I don't know what else I was gonna say. That's probably all. I probably shouldn't stream too long anyway, but if anyone wants to join, you're more than welcome. We can talk about whatever. We don't have to talk about this, but I'll probably have to hop off fairly soon. I hope that doesn't feel depressing to people, though. Like what I mean is I feel like it's kind of the most, it's, it feels like one of the most, not terrifying, well, like Hal said, terrifying, but it's like it shouldn't be. But it's kind of like, I think maybe Buddhists reckon with this more, where they go through the process of giving up their identity. Um, but it's like, what do you do? People, oh, it's always a back and forth. I think that's why Song of Songs is so freaking powerful, because it's like you have to establish yourself as a person. You have to be. You have to actually be incarnate. You actually have to live. You have to be something. Otherwise, you're just nothing at all. But it's like weirdly that nothingness is allowing you to actually be something, and you have to kind of be willing to go back to that. Like I was mentioning, like when God really presses you, you have to go through the deaths. Like what is it that survives all deaths? What is that one thing that just like death has no power over? And then are you going to give up the death of your own identity, your family identity, your religious identity? Like, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to at least not? You don't. The thing is, like, you don't have. That's what I mean. Where you're like, you have to establish yourself as a person. Like, you don't actually have to give it up. You actually are required and made to be incarnate, which makes you kind of static. But it's kind of like you still have to exist within that 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 identity that you have kind of came from non-identity. So even if you call yourself a Christian, it's like you have to acknowledge that came out of non-Christianity or something. Like there is your firsters, your mother and father, and it's like when you get back to all of that, it's like your mother and father are probably just light and darkness, something and nothing. I don't know, just rambling at this point. But the other thing about Ecclesiastes, yeah, is, and this is one of the things I'll always be eternally appreciative towards Jacob, because when I first brought up that book, he told me that word, it's often translated vanity or meaninglessness, is hevel, which it relates to the name Abel in the Genesis story. And I remember asking him what that meant, and he said, "It's just hevel. It's just hevel." Like he wouldn't give me a specific definition, which I'm extremely grateful for, because then it just makes you sit with the story of Cain and Abel, and it's like every time you read that word, every time you read Hevel in Ecclesiastes or Kohelet or whatever you want to call the book, every time you read that word, it's just kind of, you have to let it bring that whole story to mind. And then you can kind of read the book through the perspective of Cain. Like Cain is, he kills his brother, and his brother's voice is calling from the ground. Then he's cursed to like toil the earth, and then he's just haunted by this. Everything is Hevel. Everything that comes from the ground. Every part of creation is just Hevel. It's my brother. It's this exhale of breath that goes back to God. But you could also read it. I mean, the word, when you read the word man, it's actually Adam. So if you go through and like read Adam and Hevel and Abel throughout the whole thing, it's just so powerful to read it that way. I don't know. Yeah, and there's not really a way to like say it means this or that. You just kind of have to think about the story, and then it kind of, I guess, increases the poetic nature of it. I don't really know, because like all words, I think, kind of come from stories anyway. They come from things happening around us or things we see in creation, and so it's like kind of letting that word go back to its poetic form, and every time you read that word, it's got a whole story behind it. Anyway, that's all. I'm gonna leave. Oh, hi Hezzy. If you want to hop on, you can, because I was getting ready to go, but I can maybe talk a little longer. Miss you too. Miss my body. That's nice. Thank you. You corrected it. But yeah, I don't know. I'll wait like 30 seconds. Maybe not even that. I'll wait 30 seconds if you want to hop on. If not, I'm going to go. I'm going to end this thing. I'll play this, I don't even know how to get it, coyote thing though. I'll play this coyotes, and then if no one's on here, I'm going to go. Because coyotes are like night creatures, right? And there's kind of a spooky recording I have, so I'm going to play that. 3, 2, 1. Okay, no one joined. I'm gonna get out of here. All right, bye.